I'm Michael Sean Harris, and you're listening to Mike's Moment of, a weekly podcast in which I, along with my guests, share our various interests in moments of inspiration, truth, life, technology, culture, and more. I hope you're entertained and informed, and that you feel inspired to join me again and again in my moments of. All right, so welcome to this episode of Mike's Moment of. Welcome back, Hazel. You're a favorite.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much.
Most welcome. So today we're going to talk about Maroon music. But before, there's something you had wanted to say about the last time.
Yes. Two things I'd wanted to correct. I mentioned, I don't remember the name that I gave you, but this is to do with Kumina and Queenie after she left Kingston. She went to Waterloo in St. Catherine, which is that road going up like to Sligoville.
I know, it's not far from where I live. Yes.
Okay, so it's Waterloo that she went. That was her last home.
Okay.
Right, and that's where we always go for Kumina after she left Spanish Town Road.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes. And that's where most of these scholars came to Jamaica. That's where they go to meet with her and chat with her. All right. And the other thing I wanted to correct was, I think in the very beginning, when we started, we talked about my sister was first working with Dr. Lewin.
Right.
She was being trained as teacher, work at the Michael.
Yes.
And Dr. Lewin was then the music teacher. And my sister is Marjorie Ramsey Henry. She's now Henry.
Okay.
And when she went off to Glenmuir High School to take up the position as teacher, then I got the goodly, to work with Miss Olive.
The opportunity, yes.
The great opportunity. And let me tell you, Michael, it's just an eye-opener. Because as I told you before, I went to do secretarial work.
Yes.
Anyway, but that's not for today.
No, there's always time to share memories.
Yes.
This is,
Yes, man, because at the time when she started out with Mr. Siaga, and then come back into office. Now she needed the songs to be transcribed, and the fact that I was then just finished secretarial college, I thought I was going to be doing shorthand and typing and what have you. It was a totally different thing. Yes,
yes,
it's a totally different thing. I have to transcribe the words of the song, and this is where I stepped in after my sister left for college, and the story went on.
Wow.
Until I became one of the persons now going out, or the person going out into the field. Oh boy, Michael, that's a different story. Let's go
wonderful.
back.
No, brilliant. So, but I wanted to share something with you because the last episode we had, and we were talking about Dinky Mini and Zello Play, etc. And we mentioned Mr. Kirby Doyle.
Yes.
Right. So Brian Heap, who I've also interviewed for the podcast, he made a comment on it, and he said, wonderful stuff, Michael and Hazel. I have happy memories of working with Hazel, Dr. Lewin, and the Jamaican Memory Bank. Once we had to send a Jamaican indigenous instrument to the Commonwealth Heads of Government Conference in Kuala Lumpur for inclusion in an exhibition. We chose the benta, which we spoke about that in the episode. We chose the benta, and Mr. Kirby Doyle carried one for us on the bus from Islington St. Mary and walked with it on his head from halfway tree up to Waterloo Road, where we were located. Then
Yes.
we then miraculously found the perfect box in which to ship it overseas. It's probably still in a collection somewhere in Malaysia.
Yes. Yes, Michael, that was something else. Right? Now Mr. Kirby got attached now to the benta, and let me tell you, that man really, oh boy, it's, I don't know, it's just so inspiring is the word. I don't know what the word you want to use, but that man, it did not, if and but, all right, the bosses didn't want to take him at that time and walked with it up to the office.
Wow.
Right?
That's brilliant.
It was so important to me. He took it himself. Got it made. Remember, we had to get that bigger part of the bent of the bamboo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And got it all made up and took it himself.
Wow.
Took it himself to us at where we were located at the time. That was Waterloo. The office was then called Institute of Folk Culture.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Each time we move, the name changed. So,
Well, it's a change of name is a change of nature. So maybe every time they move the office, the functions change.
Yes. Oh yes.
All right.
Yes,
okay.
Papa.
All right. So come back now.
Sir.
Let's focus back now. So we'll talk about Maroon music. We'll talk about Maroons and Maroon music and traditions. I mean, as much as we can get. So I've located some of the interviews. I haven't gotten to go through all of them. So I think based on what we both of us talk about, I'm gonna extract bits and pieces of the interviews wherever it's appropriate and songs and just put them in. So tell me now, what are the... All right, but let's start though before we start with the types of songs. So Maroons are supposedly a mix of Africans who fought and escaped slavery, Spanish and also Taino.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And fiercely defending their freedom and settling in their own. And they fought for this hard, and eventually, the British had to make an agreement and have them governing themselves in these different settlements.
Yes.
Am I saying anything wrong? All right.
No, you're right.
Okay.
You're so right.
Okay.
May I add to that also I don't know if you are going there, but let me just, since it's on my mind, the different areas that they settled at the time that we knew of.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay, what were those areas?
You have the Accompong set in St. Elizabeth. Accompong. And that was controlled by Kojo.
Okay.
Those Maroons. You have Accompong. I'm going to give you 4 of the outstanding ones.
Okay.
Why I said that? Because after we started going into these places, we found out that there were other areas that they had gone to. The Maroons were settling.
Okay.
All right. So we think, yes, that was afterwards. And let me honestly tell you, it's so, oh Lord, it's so exciting, Michael, honestly.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear. I'm excited just to hear right now.
Yes, we started off in Accompong. And this was where we met Baba Rowe. Baba Rowe Colley was the colonel then.
Right.
And he was up in age at that time.
Right.
Right? He was up in age.
And just
Baba Rowe.
The last episode I did, I don't know if you've had a chance to hear it, but it was about myths and storytelling and stuff. So I have the recording of Baba Rowe telling one of the Anansi stories in that. Yes.
Baba Rowe, on our first visit, he would sit us down in a corner. Not me, let me say Miss Lewin, because I was just like the bystander at the time, just getting into the meat of the thing. But sit us in a corner. And let me tell you, Michael, I was just so transfixed. I just sit down and listen. And he was telling these stories. Just as how you hear it, the
Yes.
man was just reeling out these stories as if it's something him see happening every day in his life.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
then when he decides to sing the songs, it takes time out and tell you. If you listen to some of his interviews, you will hear it. He's
Okay.
telling you what the song is about and then Nancy's story. And how he talks is like he's just playing the thing that he saw, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes,
So
yes.
there was Baba Rowe Corley and his wife was Beatrice Corley. And they brought us into their homes, Michael.
Mm.
And when they saw, I think when they saw how interesting it was for us,
Yes.
they say, look, you can come back and stay, you know. Yes. They accepted the lady, Lewin, and
Yes.
then I just came along, you know. But let me tell you, the people gave up their beds for
Oh,
us,
oh, that's lovely.
gave up their beds. We're not talking about food because
Yes.
that must go, you
Yes,
know.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes, that must go. And when he ready to talk, because let me tell you, when Baba ready to talk, you wouldn't want to leave that hour of the night, of the day, because he'll just go on and on.
Okay.
So might as well you spread the bed, you know, and stay on.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was Baba Corley. He was a compound
A
man,
compound, St. Elizabeth. Okay.
a compound colonel.
Colonel. Okay.
Okay. The other big community was the Moortown.
Okay.
Moortown in Portland.
Moortown. Okay.
Now we got into Moortown just when Colonel Harris became colonel. Is that
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Then, so we met Colonel Harris. Okay, there was, as Colonel Harris would tell us, there was somebody else there before that we didn't see or knew of.
Okay.
He'll just mention it. Okay,
Right.
so he worked with Colonel Harris. Colonel Harris in Moortown.
Okay.
And the other big place was Scott's Hall. Scott's Hall in St. Mary,
Okay.
right? At the time there was Colonel Prehay. He was the person we met. Of course, again, there was somebody else before. Prehay.
Okay.
Okay? Then we heard of Charlestown,
Oh.
which was not far. The same place in Portland.
Okay.
No, not same place. Charlestown in Portland, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Then history has got it that there was a splintering, not a really division, but some of the Maroons came over into Charlestown because Charlestown is just a few chains from Buff Bay. If you know where Buff Bay is, going up into the hills, that same road would take you if we're coming into Kingston
Okay.
through the mountains there to come into Port Papine.
Okay.
It's that road. It's that road. That's where you'd have hit Charlestown from Buff Bay, going up that road.
Okay.
If you get my drift?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So they came from where? From Moortown?
It is said that there are bits and pieces, from Moortown, and there's a mention of Crawford Town. Never really got the background of Crawford Town.
Okay.
A person like Mr. Vivian Crawford, who is the gentleman in charge of the institute,
Yes.
somebody there you could talk to also.
Okay.
He's from that descendants.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you could talk with him about that. Okay?
Okay.
And so that's 4 we have mentioned.
Yes.
And then later down, way down, like about years after, we heard of the Trelawney town, and we also heard that there were some Maroons in an area called Maroon Town in St. James.
Okay.
We never got to get into that area. I'm sorry to tell you. I would never
Okay.
get into that area.
Okay. Okay.
The colonel then at Charlestown, what the gentleman's name was, they call him Colonel Charles.
Okay.
But like long after, not long after we met him, he died. So we
Okay.
never got to work with him much, you know. And they were without Colonel for a while until a gentleman named Lumsden came into the picture.
Okay.
Also became Colonel after a while of that era. Of course, you know, about 5 years back, he died too.
Okay. Okay.
Colonel Lumsden. So, but honestly, they still have their celebrations in June. I'm not able to go up, but I
Okay.
know they still have their celebrations. Oh,
Who?
Michael, we never
Which
talk
one?
about
Who? Who has the
we
celebrations
didn't
in
talk
June?
about celebrations. The Charleston
Oh,
Maroons.
okay. Okay.
Sorry, that was a big truck passing my yard.
Oh, okay. No problem. So the next step then is to talk about the styles of music, that the
Yes.
different styles that because I think I'd mentioned Jawbone
And what,
and
okay, Michael, let me honestly tell you. I find that I only see that in the Motown Maroons, where they were able to say the different types of music and when it's used. You understand?
okay,
This is why I want you to listen to that interview,
okay,
in-depth interview that was done with Colonel Harris.
okay. So I have a few clips from the interview with Colonel Harris, and he's speaking with Dr. Olive Lewin. I'm going to play some of those, but before, I just wanted to go through and give you a bit more information about the styles that that Hazel was talking about, that the Motown Maroons were specific about. Now, and this is a lucky thing that I have this recording. It's from the Smithsonian Folkways collection, and it's called Drums of Defiance, Maroon Music from the Earliest Free Black Communities of Jamaica. This is one of those CDs I'd go and just randomly pick up when I was at Berkeley. I'd go up to Tower Records. Anyway, it's a good thing I have it. And so I can't play the examples because, they're copyright. But I'm going to talk about some of these things from Motown. And within it, they have examples actually of tambo, which we didn't really speak about in this interview. But tambo is kind of related to the kumina. Kumina is not really from Motown, from the Maroons, but tambo is very much related. And so they have a couple songs that are tambo, and I can sing one of them because I've been listening to it for years. It says, "Hear Duppy Ball, hear Duppy Ball, hear Duppy Ball, why you coming now?" And it goes on like that, and the drum is like a tuk-tuk-tum, tum. It sounds almost like merengue, but tuk-tuk-tum kind of thing. But it's not merengue. And so that's one. But then some of the other styles now, and you might hear Colonel Harris mention Salion, which is like Sierra Leone, which is coming from Sierra Leone. So Kenneth Bilby from this Folkways recording, he says, Salion is the name given to another category of Maroon songs and the drumming style used to accompany them. The name Salion is derived from Sierra Leone, a country located on the coast of West Africa. Like Jawbone, which is another style, Salion songs are considered light and are sung primarily for recreation during the early hours of chromanti play. And chromanti play is really more about, speaking with the ancestors and inviting the ancestors into the space. So this is kind of the light stuff. It's not, and it's usually like in Creole, I think, or in English. These songs are often referred to as woman songs, and their words are in English or Creole, as with Jawbone. The songs tend to be topical, so about current things or things going on in the community. The Jawbone songs. The term jawbone refers to the category of songs and the particular drumming style used to accompany these songs. Jawbone is considered to be, again, one of the lighter categories of songs. Those songs used primarily for recreational dancing rather than for invoking spirits. Nevertheless, on occasion, even jawbone songs have caused possession. All right, so we heard about tambo, which is a separate category, but you hear about the salion or Sierra Leone, jawbone, and then you have mandinga. So mandinga refers both to a category of songs and drumming style that goes with them. Mandinga category, along with, and there's another style called papa. He mentions papa, Colonel Harris, and here it's Bilby has it as papa. So along with papa, Igbo, and Dakosi, is one of the more, that is Mandinga category, along with papa, Igbo, Ibo, and Dakosi, is one of the more powerful song categories. Each category corresponds to the tribe after which it is named. Tribe in quotes, ethnic group. So that, for example, songs from the Mandinga category can be used to invoke the spirits of Maroon ancestors descended primarily from the Mandinga quote-unquote tribe. Songs of this sort primarily are sung primarily later in the night during the chromantic dance, when the ceremony becomes more serious. The words of the songs in these more powerful categories are primarily African-derived rather than English or Creole. The drumming for these higher songs traditionally requires a special known as a bassotic or stick or a canitic. The lead drummer plays with the bassotic in one hand and the finger and palm of the other hand. The name Mandinga is derived from Manding, the name of a large ethnic group also known as Mandinka, Maninke, etc., in the Senegambia region of West Africa. However, this should not be taken to mean that the songs that go by this name can be traced to this specific region of Africa. The derivations of Maroon musical styles and songs are difficult to pinpoint, and in most cases, the songs must be seen as new creations. The end results of a unique process of musical syncretism that long ago began to blend elements of a diversity of African traditions into new styles. The category of papa, alternately pronounced papa, prapa, or prapra, includes 4 primary songs, all of which are backed by the same drumming style. Papa songs are considered to be among the most powerful of Maroon songs. It is traditional, although no longer typical, to open a serious chromantic play with these 4 papa songs, followed by 4 primary songs from each of the other tribes. The name Papa or Papa is from the word pawpaw, P-A-W-P-A-W, which Europeans used during the slavery era to refer to enslaved Africans who originated in the Yu-speaking area west of the Yoruba country, in what is now Togo and parts of Ghana. Okay, here are some clips of Dr. Olive Lewin speaking with Colonel.
Now the Stallion, what does that depict? What does that attempt to achieve?
Well, one of the things, I suppose it depicts more than one thing. But if there's a sort of somebody has broken away and is gone, and when I say broken away, I don't mean in any vexation or so, but in days gone by, the Maroons did not like to know that their children would leave to go to England or United States and so on. Sometimes they could not prevent it. But they accept it in such a case. But because of their sadness, now they would play and sing this Stallion. So it gives me the impression that it's sort of reminiscent of the fact that these Maroons from Maroon Town in St. James, who were sent to Halifax, and then from there we were taken to Stallion.
I see.
So,
Yes.
Me here to the hawks in him, little day. Oh, poor Willhel, ya vende. Oh, poor Willhel, ya vende. You will bala wudo ya vende. Me here to the hawks in him, little day. Oh, poor Willhel, me here to the hawks in him. Vilena de yo, oh, po Hallelujah, vende, oh, ya po Hallelujah, vende. Ye vilela bala udo ya vende, mi to the hawks in him, Vilena de yo, oh, po Hallelujah, vende, oh, ya po Hallelujah, vende. You will la bala udo ya vende, me here to the hawks you near, will na de yo. Oh, hallelujah, vende, oh, ya hallelujah, vende.
Okay.
The Accompong people really didn't tell, say, the style. You know, they know it's a Maroon music, and this is what we do when there's a celebration.
Okay.
You understand? And so it is for the other areas, I will tell you.
Okay. So that kind of detail was really from the Moortown, from Colonel Harris.
Moortown Maroons. And there are songs that they'll do when there's a funeral. There's a song where they'll do if there's a wedding. There are special times.
Okay.
I cannot really off the bat tell you which goes where.
So I have a question. Because I mean Maroon settlements were around from way before Kumina came to Jamaica.
Yes.
But somehow does it feel that, is it true then that there's some merging of it, because it seems like there's some Kumina going on in the Maroon Maroon settlements.
It's not a merging, I would say. It's just that there's probably a Kumina group in the area.
Okay.
Where the Maroons are.
Right.
Okay.
Because sometimes, you remember I was talking with my friend Kevin, who does Kumina, and his father and his grandfather did Kumina. I remember telling you about him, right? So he says sometimes the Maroons have a lot of similar songs that they just play a different drum. They play the drum upright instead of on the side, and they have they have some shared songs, and also that but within the thing of Kumina, there's a thing of the Congo spirits and the Maroon spirits in the ancestors. So that is a part of the Kumina thing now as well. Whether you're what they call a quote unquote Maroon body or a Congo body, which is I guess it speaks to your ancestry basically.
Yes, it does. And to be honest with you, I cannot tell you if it's wrong or it's right. But I know when for example, we go to Nanny Day in Moortown. Right. That is when they're having their celebration to Nanny, right? At Bomb Ground. and they have invited, or the Kumino group turn up.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And really and truly, one or two of the songs that you'll hear more in Kumino, you will probably hear it with the Maroons.
Okay.
But what I find though, it's I'm not going to say younger or older, it's like, you hear a song, you catch it, the sound good, so you
keep
put it in your...
yes.
You keep it?
Yes, it's like a cross-pollination
honestly,
kind of thing.
The Maroons, yes, the Maroons, if you listen to the Maroons songs, especially in the Motown group, you could hear the difference when they do, whether it's a proper or a Salion or a Jawbone, you could hear the difference.
Oh, in terms of the style. I see. Okay.
The style.
And the truth is, I mean, such a small country, there's bound to be some
mix. Yes.
Even though for such a long time, the Maroon communities have been kind of protective of their traditions and kind of thing,
Their traditions, right? So they'll quickly catch something, but you can't quickly catch the song.
It goes one way. It goes in, but it don't come out. Okay.
Yes. As you touch that part, they were so careful with their celebrations and their coming together.
Okay.
They were very, very, as they call the word, cagey. You couldn't just turn up and see you're going into their community.
Right.
No, they were very cagey. But since it comes to light that people have to know about your history,
right?
So they sort of open the gate now, and you're accepted.
Okay. Because I don't know if it's still happening, but even with some of the things that I heard on the interview. And this we know because we've been taught this, that because of the agreements that they had and that still exist, a lot of their disputes and stuff would be dealt with within the community and not by police or judge or whatever. And and sometimes some of the judges knew that, and the police knew that. So if they came to them, they'd send them back and say no. You're Maroon. Go back to the colonel and deal with it there.
And their council. That's right.
Right.
Yes. The colonel and their council, and so they have to deal with it there. Right?
Sir, what is your association with the rest of Jamaica?
Well, just as any other community around in the island, one of the differences is that, as we have said before, we try to settle our own disputes here. That doesn't mean that some don't get out to the courts, you see, but in the main, we try to settle as many as we can. And in days gone by, you would hardly find any going on, because if they even reach there, the judges would send them right back here. And the people knew that they had to come along and to go in accordance with the decision that is made here.
Is it still being done?
To a certain extent. And it would have been still as it was in the past. But some of the judges now, most of them don't know about Maroon history, you see.
I see.
And somehow or other, they fail to do what they are.
Yes, that is very strong.
Okay.
I think this is why they get away with so much ganja that side.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
In Acapulco.
Okay.
Be careful, Hazel. Anyway.
Well, I mean, it could also be, Sacrament.
yeah, there you go. Okay. Right. What are we talking? Lord, there's so many things, Michael. Where were we again?
All right. So we're talking about, you're saying the last thing you said was
the music.
The music.
The music. And the music also brings in the drums.
Right.
That are used. The drums, they are bang. It's a cow's horn.
The cow's horn.
There's a little hole that's cut out where they blow in, and if you know what a cow's horn, look at that. And the tip of that cow's horn, they use their thumb to hold, but they blow in a cutout hole that they do. And the other thing too, blowing their bang is not just blowing their bang, it's sending a message.
Okay, so there's rhythms
sending a message. So the person must know you're sending a message to say, is the ceremony going on? Something is going, you're having visitor, whatever. you must know how to blow in the abeng.
Okay.
Okay? The abeng is blown to let the community know what's happening.
Okay.
On the special day, which is the 6th of January in Akompong, the abeng is blown the night before, and you'll hear it right around in the area, because although 6th of January, but the night before 6th of January, it's like the eve, there's a lot of drumming and singing, they're being blowing and all that. Sometimes it goes all through the night until they start the celebration on the 6th of January.
Okay.
Right? And the 6th of January is to commemorate that fight between Kojo and the English. And you know that part of the story.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
So all right. So Kojo was a Akompong, where Nani
Kojo was the Akompong leader, yes, and Nani was Moortown.
Okay.
Moortown, Portland. Yes.
Okay.
It is said that it was brother and sister. I don't see any history yet to say that. Yes or no. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
So Nani controlled Moortown and Kojo controlled Akompong. Okay?
Okay.
The abeng, as you are saying, is one of the instruments used, and it's blown. It's not that is like an instrument playing along with the blowing a note or something. No, it blows, it stops, and the drums take over. No, in Akompong, a very interesting drum made up. It's a square drum covered with goat skin.
Yes.
And 4 legs. Now, it's like a frame, square, and then there's an inner frame. And the 4 legs, there's a hole with pegs. Now, that peg, when you knock it in, pushes the inner frame up. So and that's how the drum is tuned.
Oh, I see. Right.
You see?
Yes. What's the name of that drum?
The Gumbey.
Right. Okay. So Gumbey is only from Akompong.
I said, as in the drum, the Gumbey is the drum in Akompong.
Right.
And they also use a small round drum that they beat along with the Gumbey drum.
Okay.
Right.
Does that one have a name?
They just call it a round drum. Be honest with you.
Okay.
But the crucial, the important one was the Gumbey.
Okay.
Now, when we first saw that Gumbey drum, Michael, the very first one, it was so used, so old, you'd never believe it. And they did not use nails to attach the skin to that drum. They would strip bits, what do you call it, like splinters, you know, the pieces of wood.
Yes.
Strip it right down, like looking like nails.
Okay.
And that's what they use, enough to nail the skin down right around on that frame.
Okay.
Right? Now today people, the youngsters don't go through all that trouble to do that. They find nails.
Okay.
And this is what they use now to nail the skin down on the drum. But as Maroons, who couldn't have to use what they had around them.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So that was the interesting thing. And
did that Gumbey have a unique sound?
Yes, I can't describe it. You really have to listen to a tape, Michael.
Okay.
You really have to listen to a tape.
And there's a Gumbey drum, but is there style also a Gumbey? Is there a music style called Gumbey?
Yes, there's a form named Gumbey.
There's a form, okay.
Yes, found out in Lacovia.
Okay.
Yes.
And
oh, po Willhel, ya vende. Oh, po Willhel, ya vende. Ya Willhel, bala wudo, ya vende. Me here to the hawks in him, Lina de yo. Oh, povilelo ya vende. Oh, ya povilelo ya vende. Yuvile la bala wudo ya vende. Mi yeto da haks yuni. Vilina de yo. Oh, povilelo ya vende. Oh, ya povilelo ya vende. Yuvile la bala wudo ya vende. Mi to the Haxinium, Vilina de yo. Oh,
Was it religious or was it another function or several
Another
functions?
deeply ancestral sort of music,
Okay.
playing, dancing, rather earthy,
Okay.
rather earthy. Oh, that's sort of sound. That's the Gumbay.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
That's the go. But funny enough, the Gumbay group in Lacovia, their drum was a bigger type, more taller
Okay.
type, same style of the Gumbay in Accompong,
Yes.
but it's like twice the size of the Accompong drum.
Okay.
Now that could stand on its own and played
Standing
by
up.
the player. Yes.
Okay.
With the Accompong Gumbay drum, they sit on the ground, have it in their legs on the ground
Okay.
and playing with hands.
Yes.
You see? Whereas the Gumbay as in the dance form is standing on its own
Right.
and they're playing it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So and then in Motown now, their drum, what we call like a cylindrical drum, and they call it a prente.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The prente is a hollowed out tree. I cannot remember the name of the tree, Michael. I'm sorry. But that is hollowed, and then that is also covered with goat skin.
Okay.
This one again pegs, twists, what do you call it? Like rope
Yes.
that you find in the country.
Yes.
This, and it is soaked so they can use it to twine the skin around that drum, the hollowed out thing.
Yes.
Right? And hit again, same style. Well, they hit it down with a hammer to tighten the skin on the drum.
Okay.
Yes.
So prente and so that is
Prente.
and that is in which
in Motown.
In Motown, and what kind of music was the prente used to play?
The Gumbay in Accompong and prente in Motown.
Yes.
You see, these two groups were more outstanding than the others, Michael. Let me also tell you. The people there then understood what was happening. They were quite aware of what they grew up to see in the community. The seniors were then very strong in the community at that time, right? And so they grew up to see these things and they continued it. I didn't see much of the instrument being used at like Scott's Hall. I can't remember, be honest with you, the type of drum that was used there, but I know they did their drumming and singing same way.
Okay.
Can't remember what the drum looked like. And remember I mentioned to you the Charlestown Maroons. They had the choir plus another drum.
Okay.
Yes, another drum. It's nearly looking like the Prente, but a little more fatter or stouter, I would say.
Okay.
Yes, and just, in playing the Prente, it's more standing, but it's between their legs, between their feet.
Yes.
To hold it there and the hands on top.
Yes.
Same, but in Charlestown, it's a bigger one. Playing it the same way.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's resting on the ground with their feet holding it down there and the hands playing the rhythm on top.
All right. At this point, I just want to add some notes from Kenneth Bilby's articles and the Drums of Defiance CD. So, in regards to the Moortown Maroons, he says the instrumental ensemble normally employed in chromatic play consists of a pair, one female and the other male, of long, single-headed cylindrical drums, each called printing. And that is what Hazel is referred to as prente, and Dr. Olive Lewin refers to it with a drawing in her book as printing. And Bilby says it's from the Twi or prenteng. And also there's a length of bamboo tube played with two sticks, and this is what Hazel had referred to this in this episode and previous episodes as a qua, and Bilby refers to it as a quat. And there's also a machete struck with a piece of metal known as the iron or adawo. And this instrument is understood to be playing kind of a paralinguistic mode most of the time, but although it really isn't sending any kind of a message. The drummer, known as Okrema or printing man, is second in importance only to the fetman. The fetman is the person who in chromatic play, who I guess is kind of like the Kumina king, who will be the one communicating with the spirits and the one through whom the curing or whatever is going to take place. So the drummer is second only in importance only to the fetman. And the drummer should know how to play both the interlocking, supporting, and lead parts known as rolling and cutting, respectively, and should possess a sound knowledge of the diverse drumming styles accompanying the different categories of songs. Each category calls for its own drumming style, although songs from one category will occasionally be backed by the drumming style associated with another category. So now in Charlestown, the instrumental ensemble consisted of two drums, the Grande and the Gumbey. And we already spoke about the Gumbey, which is a square drum with the inner frame, and it's tightened that way with the pegs and stuff. A piece of bamboo used for percussion, as in Moortown, called the quat, and also a metal implement used for percussion, usually a machete or a pitchfork, known as adawa. The Grande is the same in basic design as the printing of Moortown, and it is considered female. The Gumbey is shaped something like a stool, as we mentioned before, quite similar to the Gumbey of a kampong, except more rectangular and with 2 instead of 4 legs, and is considered male. Both the Grande and Gumbey are single-headed and played with the hands. The latter functions as the lead drum, and the former provides support. So Gumbey is the lead drum, Grande provides the support. Now in Scots Hall, the instrumental ensemble used in the chromatic dance is comprised of 2 drums, the Grande and the Gumbey, the quat as well, and the machete used for percussion, again called the iron. The Grande is considered female and essentially for the same design has the same design as a printing of Moortown, but slightly shorter in length. Remember, Hazel was saying it's a fatter drum, lower, slightly shorter in length. And the Gumbey, considered male, is the same design as Gumbey of Charlestown. The Grande is sometimes alternatively referred to as monkey, and the Gumbey as Saliman. The former is used as a supporting drum and the latter as the lead drum. In Accompong, Bilby says, Accompong is the sole remaining leeward Maroon community in Jamaica and is isolated from the three windward communities by a distance of more than 100 miles. It's the home of a chromantic tradition that clearly differs from those found in the eastern villages. In Accompong, very few traditional ritual specialists continue to practice, and they are not known by the name Fetman. Spirit possession or Mayal also appears to take a quite different form in Accompong than in the eastern communities. But in spite of the differences marking the traditions of the Leeward and Windward Maroons, there remains several important links. There are a few songs sung in Accompong that are clearly related to songs still found in the Windward communities. And some of the characteristic rhythmic patterns played on the Goombay drums of Accompong hint strongly at the connection with the jawbone style as played in Moortown. So which ones, if you can recall, which ones of these styles and drums is used for what function? Are they just used generally for all the music?
Yes, it's I can't. They play their different rhythms on the drums are used at all functions.
All functions, okay. So the styles might vary, but the drums will be the same.
Yes, it's the same one drum.
Right.
Used.
Right. Okay.
The Gumbey in Accompong is the same, and the round drum at all celebrations in Accompong. That's the drums being used.
Okay.
The Prente is the one being more in Moortown all time at all times.
Okay.
It's as you need to go back to listen to the style of singing and you probably get the rhythm on the playing of the drums.
So did any of them have any wind instruments or any string instruments or anything like that?
No. Not that I know. Not in either of the no, there were no string instruments. I can't remember. In any of the groups, in any of the Maroon groups. That's the question you're asking me.
Yes.
No, I haven't seen any instruments. If there's an instrument, it's like, I'll give an example. 6th of January brings out the crowds of all types, okay?
Okay.
The organizers would invite in a mentor band. And so they're in their booth by themselves.
Okay.
So if you're listening to an Accompong tape and you probably hear some instrumental, it's in an invited group for that day.
So they might invite, might even invite a Duncan group or something, and that's why you're here at 5 or
invite them in.
Okay, I see.
For because you have all sorts of persons there, and their celebration, Accompong is still at. They'll go up to the Kinder tree to have their celebration.
Which tree?
The Kinder tree is like this special area. And there they'll do all the cooking, the singing and the dancing and the drumming and all that is done. And that's away from the village.
Okay.
You understand? Mm-hmm. So if you hear the mentor band or so, that's down in the square.
Okay, I see. Okay.
And those are specially invited.
Got you. Okay.
You understand?
So this Kinder tree is kind of where the ceremonial things happen and the kind of ritual things happen.
Yes, the ceremonial tree, under the ceremonial tree.
Okay.
At that time, it was an old mango. I think it was a mango tree. And another time it was gourd,
Yes. Oh,
calabash tree.
okay. Okay.
But Michael, you could see the aging at the root of the tree.
Okay. Okay.
But that's where they had their celebration, away from it all. So you'll only hear the sound of the drumming and the music. You just have to follow that trail. And then you could just turn up and that at that ceremonial tree, so although you hear the music,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
You have to be invited.
Okay.
Now people just follow the music and go there.
Okay.
Wasn't like that in times gone by. The instruments you're probably hearing is like, as I said, an invited group
Okay.
playing the old time mento or the old time quadrille and all that sort of thing.
So for
Okay.
the celebrations, do they each have their own specific celebration? Like, is there a kojo thing for one and a nani thing for one? And
Oh yes, yes.
and also are there combined things where they all get together? Does that ever happen?
They'll invite the other group over to their celebration and vice versa.
Oh, I see. But there's no big joint
Right?
Maroon
No,
celebration.
the only big joint thing we had was when they were invited to Smithsonian.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and it was that year that they were looking at Maroons, because you have Surinamis, you
Yes.
had where were the founder of Maroons,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that year they were focusing on Maroons around the world. Then,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
yes, if you go into Smithsonian website, you will probably pick up a lot of that. Yes, so ask if they ever come together. That was the only time I remember them coming together, and that was abroad.
Okay.
In Jamaica, they'll invite their groups. Like example, 6th of January, the Accompang Maroons, they'll invite the other Maroons over.
Okay.
Okay? And vice versa, as I said. The Charlestown, the Moortown, and Scotsall, where they're having their celebration, they'll invite the other Maroons over.
Okay.
Right? And the other time that we ever saw them together was when Dr. Lewin had done a special session and invited the Maroons on the grounds of School of Music there,
Okay.
Yes. And they came together and they were the colonels there. You were able to talk with them, interview them. You see the different dances, the different drumming, singing, and all that. All that was done. Videotape should be there.
Well, who knows?
Yes.
But so I just did a quick Google search just for Maroons, and it seems that there's Maroon populations several places
Yes.
in Cuba, in Dominica, St. Lucia, St.
Right.
Vincent,
Yes.
Dominican Republic,
Yes.
Haiti, of course, Jamaica, of course, Puerto Rico, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Mexico, even I guess there's Jamaican Maroons maybe in Nova Scotia. It says that's Canada.
Nova Scotia, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Illinois,
That group that way.
yeah. Florida,
Yes.
Louisiana, North Carolina and Virginia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, French Guiana and Suriname.
I don't think they had all of them there, but
Okay.
there was a Colombia, Suriname, I remember. I think a bit from Mexico, Jamaica.
And then a couple
Haiti.
islands in the Indian Ocean apparently have some as
Yes.
well. Reunion and
Chiefs.
Mauritius.
Yes. Some say chiefs, some say colonels.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and they came together. And it was quite interesting to know that they, at one time, all the groups were together, Michael, and you would never believe who is who.
Because they all understand
Because-
each other and
They all came together. They were dancing, they were singing this. Even if the songs were in Jamaican,
right.
the tune, they could understand. The
Yes.
steps that you would never believe.
Wow.
It was, oh Lord, it was just fantastic. Right? And at some point, they had the colonels together.
Yes.
And they were able to communicate. As I said, after the Akampong people got into, noticing that people are coming in then,
Yes.
of a better word, coming to their celebration, they'll provide other entertainment.
Right.
And so they'll invite other groups in. As I said, they'll invite the benta band. Yes. Then invite a Junkuno group that will, bring the crowd in.
Yes.
From one corner to the other. So with the drumming, the Junkuno music and all, they'll bring them in.
Okay.
Right? But as I said, it's just for entertainment.
Right.
Okay?
So, in their community, what is the worship situation? Do they have churches, or is it what is it all ancestral and how?
No, they do. They have their different denominations within the different areas. Yes, in the different Maroon areas. Yes.
Right. And
yes,
but they
have their Maroon celebration is them. Yes.
Yes.
Church is a different thing. They go to church.
Okay.
You have the different denominations, all you can think of, in all the areas, Michael.
Okay.
All the areas, right?
Well, the funny thing is that right in Moortown here, I say the funny thing because in a small district like this, you have about 7 churches, and they all have their different hymn books. The Anglicans have their hymn books, the Seventh-day Adventists, the Baptists, and the others. Yes.
So that means that the Maroons go to any of those churches?
Yes. Right.
Okay.
But they have certain traditions though that certain things like preparing for certain things like for weddings and for different things. Is there any of those that you can recall?
Well, I've never been to any of their weddings or of their whatever things, like funeral probably. Mm-hmm. The only one that I've gone to, a funeral I can talk about. Mm-hmm. From the person died. Incidentally, they don't take long, like how much days and weeks and what have you
to bury
before burial.
Okay.
From there's a death, the grave is start digging.
Oh, okay.
Within themselves there. Okay?
Yes.
And let me tell you too, things are so changed, as you might know. If you have a death, the people come and bring you things.
Yes.
They come, as long as you mark up the spot where the grave is to be done, it's done.
Okay.
Right? And in so doing, this is where they'll bring out the drums, the singing and the dancing and the drumming. Right? It's just like when you're having a setup or a night or so, they'll have their singing and the dancing right through. And they provide food. Yes, you can probably, if you bring something, but they provide the food. And in the Maroon areas, it's more pork. You know that.
So pig, yes.
Jerking of the pork.
Right.
And the cooking and all of that pots going on until the day of the funeral.
Okay. As you mentioned the pork thing, because I have to mention something about that when I was getting interviews and talking to people about the kumina stuff, and they're talking about sometimes they'll use the goat's blood as certain things in the kumina things. But what I was told, one person was saying that when she cannot eat goat, or she cannot do anything with the goat's blood because she'll break out in stuff because she's Maroon. Yes. And the Maroon people, when they're doing kumina and stuff, they don't do anything with the goat. They don't go near. They don't cook goat. They don't do nothing like that because it affects them on a spiritual level.
Yes, the spirits are it's like going against the spirit. Yes, they say so.
Yeah.
They say so. So it's more pork in the Maroon areas.
Right.
Cooking of the pork. Michael, I'm giving you such a job because let me tell you. The cooking of the pork in Akampong is without salt.
Okay.
They'll kill the pig. They have their ceremony in doing that, killing of the pig. They boil the pig
Yes.
without salt, roast yam or roast plantain. That's what they eat it with.
Okay.
Now, in the early, I have to go back to those days, not like, no. Why I say that? Because they'll go up by kinder,
Yes.
because they do the cooking there to the ceremonial area.
Right.
And they'll cook in a kerosene tin.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
You are invited, and so you must be able to taste the pork that they just don't cook without salt.
Oh.
And it's not knife and fork situation, Michael.
Well, yes.
A piece of pork is given to you with a piece of stick on a cocoa leaf. Did I say stick? Yes.
Yes.
On a cocoa leaf, because you're sharing in their ceremony.
Okay.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to bring you some sort of luck.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yes.
One year I went there because they said that, like the year before or so, a fight broke out because everybody wanted luck, and so they went into the pan before time, and it was one confusion.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the next year we go, then build a fence around the pot. It was just the person
Yes.
who was cooking or looking after the pork, and the roasting of the yam was within that area. So you have to wait to be served on your cocoa leaf with your piece of stick. Okay?
Yes.
That's akampong.
Okay.
The pork cooked without salt. In Moortown and Charlestown, they jerk the pork.
Ah, okay.
Pig
So
is
with
killed
pimento
from
and
above.
do they use the pimento
Yes.
branches
They
and
put it
stuff?
on the cabinet. Yes, yes. But they'll kill the pig and season it, roll it, and put it down in a pan to what's called marinate.
Yes.
Okay. Then on like the day on the day of the celebration, they'll take it out with they'll fix the fire and spread it out on there now. And this is where they jerk in it. They dig a hole, and the wood so burn that you have the coal now, and you have the pimento stick over that,
Right.
and it is being looked after.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Again, I take you to Smithsonian, and they did that. That was one of the specialty on the mall, the folk life on the mall in Washington.
Yes.
And the people smell or see the smoke or smell the aroma right across, and the crowd gathered around the Maroons. We had to get the people to say, no, you cannot, don't give anybody anything, because, the Smithsonian people are now caged, because we would say, if anything wrong with them, they'd want to sue the Smithsonian. Right? So they were very cagey. So they came around with people. No, you just have to look at it. This is an exhibition. No, you cannot. One man went away. One gentleman went away, Michael, and got pork. We don't know where he got it. Brought it back to the Maroon gentleman and asked him to season it up and cook. Michael, he could not resist.
Yes. Well, you can't.
He could not resist.
You can't resist.
Yes, I mean?
Exactly. So, what year was the Smithsonian exhibition?
It in the 80s.
In the 80s, okay.
I think it's in the 80s. If I could, they had books or magazine or booklets out on it. Oh yes.
But you
The
went with
live
you and Dr. Lewin went with the group to Washington?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Who else went?
Yes. And then we had members from each group.
Yes.
You had the Maroons from Moortown and some from Accompong.
Okay.
That are the two sets of Maroons that went with us.
Okay.
Yes, the Smithsonian.
Okay.
And then you had Queenie Kumino.
Oh, okay. So it was more more than Maroon.
Yes, it was more than Maroon.
So it's more than 1 year you went. You went more than 1 year to the Smithsonian thing.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay. How many times did you go?
I think about 2, because I remember going. I think the Kumino and the Maroons were 1 year.
Okay.
And Etu was another year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're back to the cooking of the pork.
Yeah, yes, to come back to the pork and the jerk.
Yes. So as I said before, there is, and I find Charlestown now, you see, they're now catering to people.
Right.
You know,
right.
Because where it was just the pork, and people say, well, they don't eat the pork. So they start catering. So you have other things.
So you have a selection. Cooked. You have chicken and you have...
have a selection now.
Yes.
But things change a lot.
Yeah, and because, I guess because they have to, it kind of becomes commercial because they have to invite people in because they want awareness of what they're doing and who they are, which makes sense because they need support in different ways. And that comes through, people knowing who they are and what they're about.
The things they do.
Yeah.
But what other things do? Although, yes, I do agree that, but it got too wide scale down in Accompong, Michael.
Oh.
Yes. In the early days, okay, so there's you hit the village, right? Accompong.
Mm-hmm.
And then you walk the track by following the sound of the drum to Kinder.
Okay.
To see the Maroons dancing and playing and singing. Okay?
Yes.
There was nothing along the roadside, let me tell you.
Okay.
No. Yeah, they call it Bendong Plaza. Right?
Oh, they have vendors all along the way. You can
find anything you want from I don't want to call names.
Right.
But, anything to do with plastic and to do with the clothes.
Yes.
Anything to, and then you had a lot of jerk pan now.
Right.
Jerk chicken.
Well, I mean, everybody have to make them the little money.
Yes.
But the question though is because I don't know of any kind of real official support, financial or otherwise, of those communities. Because I mean, they're kind of have to be self-sufficient. So everybody there is kind of hustling, I guess. At this point,
that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Yeah. Because in the early days, you wouldn't pay to go in. You're invited to the celebration, but now, as you say, they have to provide meals, what have you.
You can't sustain that.
They take a fare, and the people who go in to sell is like rented a booth.
Yes.
So they'll sell a corner. You rent your corner.
Right.
And you are able to do you bring your ground provision and you sell and all that sort of thing.
It's a proper festival. I mean, when I was doing,
they get a little.
Yes, it's a proper festival. So the community will make a money because they're renting out the spots, and whoever comes to sell makes something as well.
That's right. So that's how it is now.
Right. But you'd think, because I mean, yes, we have these designated heritage sites and whatnot. But how do we maintain that? How do we support that? Even somewhere like Port Royal. I mean, yes, there's a buzz around it now. And they're doing stuff with it now. But for so long, nothing was being done, and basically Port Royal is disintegrating. And drowning.
As to that,
So I mean, that's another thing we'll talk about another time.
Yes.
Okay.
What I know was happening. What I can remember was happening in Moortown. Craft, yes.
Okay. Like what kind of craft
they were deep into craft. Basketry.
Okay.
This thing they call yo-yo, making it from the cocoon seed.
Yes. I know those. Yes.
The yo-yo. Using up the but they had banana trash making mats.
Okay.
Coconut bowl making hats.
Okay.
And mats for your house.
Yes.
They were into craft.
Okay.
In Moortown. I would say the same for Accompong, yes.
Okay.
And then in Moortown now, they developed a herbal garden.
Oh.
Yes, a herbal garden where they brought in all the different, I don't want to say weed, just think bush, sorry.
So, yeah, that bush medicine kind of thing, yeah.
Bush medicine, yes. Right? The different types of bush. Yes, and they would have their signs on it and what it is good for and all that sort of thing. That was done in, I don't know how is it now, but I know they had that beside their craft work.
And there's a big market for that. So, I mean, for people who use traditional medicines and stuff.
Area for that. Same for Accompong. Accompong, they had started also an opening, a library plus a little museum area,
okay, that's good.
Yes, in Accompong. Same Moortown too.
Okay.
So you would have gone there and seen a replica of the drum.
Yes.
And the man would have been there making the drums also. Things like that. They had these little museums.
Okay.
Right? Yes. And the craft things that you'll find there. A lot of leather work in Accompong. Slippers and belts and bags. The use of the calabash. Make all of that. And now it is spreading so much now out of Accompong. People are taking on the craft.
Right. Okay.
I will not say anything about the cloth. I can't remember them making their own.
Okay.
But definitely the handcrafted things were done by them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So so then I still have to look for these examples of
yes,
the
please,
songs.
They probably have rough footages, I'll be honest with you. That's when I just learned to use the video camera.
Okay.
So you probably find bits and pieces there. Okay?
Well, I mean I don't know of any video stuff at Edna, so maybe that would be at the library. But
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay. Yes, this is good. So with the Maroon stuff. Okay. Well, Hazel, thanks again.
Not a problem at all, Mike, and I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Yes.
All right, take care.
I get so excited when I do these things, Michael.
Yes, I can say that. I can, and that's fine.
I went all boat.
Yeah, man.
I'm so glad.
I don't mind at all, because sometimes when you go on a tangent, we get some other information we never expected, and so that's great.
There you go.
I know, but it's wonderful because
yes.
the more the merrier. the more you come back with is the better.
Yes,
yeah,
Michael.
Man. All right. Thanks, Hazel.
Blessings. Not a problem. Take care. Good. Bye-bye.